Hey guys, what's up? It's iPhone here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuva Hind. The Kuva Hind that I'm going to be using in today's video is a Toxin Kuva Hind. You could probably get better results if you were to pick up a Heat Kuva Hind, because then you could use like Viral plus Heat or Corrosive plus Heat without necessarily having to throw on a Heat mod, right? You could stack more damage into Corrosive or more damage into Viral if you so choose to, and it's just a fun time from there on out. But honestly, it doesn't really matter too much in the current meta of the game. That's just if you want to be super min-max. But of course, like, the element depends on the faction that you're going against. So like maybe having Electric might be better versus Corpus, for example. It just all depends on the enemies that you're playing against at that certain time. I myself, I'm probably going to go out of my way to get like one of each every single Kuva weapon element in the game for every single Kuva weapon, because I'm just that crazy and I just want stuff to do in Warframe, so that's a goal that I've sort of set for myself. But yeah, the Kuva Hind is one of my favorite Kuva weapons in the game. You've got 3 firing modes. You got Burst, you've got Semi-Auto, and you've got Fully Auto, so it's kind of like the Tiburon Prime in that sense, where you've got all these different firing modes. It's really nice, and you build it more or less the exact same as the Tiburon Prime because it is a crit weapon. Now we've got nice balanced stats in terms of critical chance and status chance, which I like to see, but we've got on Serration for our damage, Split Chamber for our multi-shot, Point Strike for our critical chance, Vital Sense for our critical damage, Rhyme Rounds for our cold, Malignant Force for our toxin, that of course makes our viral damage, 100 munitions for our 30% chance to apply slash procs on critical hits, and then a prime beam mod to increase the damage that our slash procs deal by 2.4 times. So your standard being 100 munitions viral builds, really solid build to gravitate towards on any crit rifle. Honestly, it deals damage, it makes enemies dead. You'll see what I mean, because we're about to spawn in level 110 corrupted heavy gunners. And we're going to try different firing modes. So first up, we got the burst firing mode. We shoot the enemy in the head, and as you can see, the guy dies in just a few bursts. It's crazy good, right? So there's your 1 burst. Here's the amount of damage over time that it deals. Boom, 1 burst, and the bad guy is gone. It reminds me of the, is it the Sillet Bang commercial? Yeah, bang and the dirt is gone. Bang and the bad guy's dead, right? So it's not gonna one shot or 1 burst the enemies all the time, but you can definitely make it happen pretty consistently. Make sure you're hitting your headshots, because if you're not hitting your headshots, you can see that we don't deal as much damage, right? The headshot multiplier helps out a ton whenever it comes to your damage over time. So important to keep that in mind to shoot the enemy's mind, right? So that's enough of the burst fire. Let's move on to the semi. So there's 1 shot of the semi. We apply a viral proc, and more viral procs, more, no wait, none that time, viral plus slash, enemy's gonna die. Nice. So if you can apply your viral plus your slash on the first shot, then the bad guy's gonna die. Of course, you're not gonna shoot 1 by 1 by 1. In regular gameplay, you're gonna go bam, 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 bam. Just keep on going like that, and the enemy's gonna die. So your semi-auto, not my favorite firing mode on the Kuva Hind, but people might like it. People might like it. Moving on to the full auto, personal favorite. Shoot the bad guy's head. It's gonna die. Move on to the next bad guy. Shoot at his head. Move on. Shoot at his head. Move on. Just keep on doing that. Shoot the enemy's head. Move on. If you're a Gauss main, press 4. Burp really fast, move on. Burp really fast, move on. Burp really fast, move on. Really fun weapon with Gauss, if I do say so myself. I've been enjoying playing the Kuva Hind with Gauss. It's just really, really fun being able to just lay in to these enemies with an insanely fast fire rate weapon, and then of course have those slash procs deal a ton of damage, and the viral procs help it out. So yeah, really nice, really fun, awesome builds. You could even throw on Vigilante supplies or any mod, honestly, in this Exo slot that is going to help out with your crits if you happen to have them, because this weapon can go all the way up to level 40, meaning it's going to have more capacity than usual. I just wanted to jump into the simulacrum and show off the meat of the build, I guess you could say, at rank 31. So that's only 1 build that I've got to show you guys today. Moving on to config B, we've got our raw crit build. Now you can modify this build. It's more or less the exact same as everyone with a few tweaks here and there, right? So we've got a serration for damage, split chamber for multi-shot. Prime shred takes the place of our prime beam. This is just to increase the fire rate, so we deal more DPS, right? Vital Sense for a critical damage, Point Strike for a critical chance, Infected Clip and Stormbringer to make corrosive, then Hellfire on here for our heat as well. So this is a really easy build to go for if you're a newer player to the game. What you can also do is you can take off the Hellfire and then throw on the likes of Bladed Rounds, or you can take off the Prime Shred and throw Bladed Rounds in its place. Then you have the extra damage from your extra elements, right? So really good build, pretty flexible. The main bulk of it is Serration, Split Chamber, Vital Sense, Point Strike, and then 2 elemental mods. That's what you should be going for as a newer player. Just to get the most out of your weapon, I guess you could say. Things come second, like reload speed and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about those. Just go ahead and throw on your elemental damage, and then that way you're probably going to one-shot whatever it is that's in front of you as a newer player anyway, because the enemies on the star chart are relatively low level. So yeah, let's just jump in and test out this here build, and then we'll modify it a little bit by throwing Bladed Rounds in. So pretty solid, right? Nothing to complain about there. You just have to keep on bursting the enemy's head this time. You can't just leave him. You got to keep on shooting his head. Your headshots are always going to be important. You've also got punch through because of shred on this this time. Let's go for the semi-auto. Your semi-auto fire rate is actually increased as well, making the semi-auto, at least in my opinion, a lot more usable because on the other build we didn't have shred on. There's like a sort of delay between every single shot with the semi-auto, but this here with shred on makes it so that delay is a lot shorter, right? So a lot more usable, at least in my opinion. You've got your corrosive kicking in to strip away enemy armor, your heat stripping away enemy armor, and of course dealing damage as well. Moving on to the full auto. Here we go. Pretty nice. Not as good as the other builds, but still all right nonetheless. So let's go ahead, take off the Hellfire mod for the Bladed Rounds, because I think that'll be fun to use. Bladed Rounds on there. Cool. Jump on over with our burst fire, shoot the guy in the head. So we've got to kill an enemy first for the Bladed Rounds to take effect, and then as we're aiming, we deal more crit damage. So you can see already the damage boost right there. You get your semi-auto action, and now we go for the full auto. You can see that we deal a lot more damage with Bladed Rounds on, opposed to you know, the Hellfire mod, right? So you got your Prime Shred and your Bladed Rounds. Bladed Rounds is always going to be better than a third element, I think. But again, it does depend on the circumstance, of course. So it's entirely up to you what you want to use. That's just an option. It's a very flexible build, your raw crit build. Moving on to config C, this is another build that you may want to mess around with because you've got such a high status chance. So we've got our Serration, we got our Split Chamber. So Serration, Split Chamber for your damage multi-shot. Prime Shot again for our fire rate. I just hit my microphone. Vital Sense for your crit damage, Point Strike for your critical chance, and then we've got our status mods on here instead of the 90% elemental damage mods. We're making Viral and our heat. So Malignant Force and Rhyme Rounds for Viral, then Ferment Rounds for heat on its own. You can swap this up. You can use Corrosive and heat. It's entirely up to you, and it depends on the enemies that you're going against at the time. So let's go ahead and test this out. Kill some of these enemies and spawn in a fresh group of heavy gunners. Simulate. We'll go for the burst fire first again. I like this build because you're applying your slash procs, you're applying your fire procs or your heat procs, and your viral procs pretty consistently. I wish I could fit like a beam mod in here to just make the slash procs deal that little bit more damage on top of the heat as well, because the damage over time with this would be insane if you could, but unfortunately I don't have enough room for that. So, you know, it's pretty decent, it's pretty solid. It's not as insane as the first build that I showed off by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still pretty damn good. I would say that it's better than config B, honestly. So that was our burst fire. Let's just go ahead and burst into this guy's head and see how long it takes us to kill him. That's probably not a fair one because I had to reload halfway through that, so let's try it again. In the guy's head. He dies relatively quickly, right? Nothing bad there. Let's go for the semi-auto in this guy's head. So that one was pretty good. And let's go for the full auto as well. That is pretty fast. So I would say that config C is better than config B just because of how often you're applying the things like your slash procs and stuff like that. But it's entirely up to you which one you choose to go for. So no matter how you slice it, the Kuva Hind is just a good weapon, I would say. And you know, if you manage to get one with at least one element on it, then you're good to go. If you were the type of guy to use Gauss before you got your Kuva Larvling and you got bonus impact damage, well, kind of sucks to be you, but just go ahead, farm up another Larvling and get some type of element on the Kuva Hind, and then you should be good to go. Like I said, Heat is probably the best element to go for right now as a bonus damage, and Toxin is also really, really good as well, because that'll give you more damage versus into your corrosive and into your viral. But then Heat, you know, you don't have to necessarily throw on another Heat mod to have that Heat bonus damage on there. So, you know, Heat is a pretty good choice right now, but like I said, it's going to depend on the enemies that you're going against. Maybe Cool might be right up your alley if you don't like Bombards. Maybe Electric might be right up your alley if you don't like Shields. Cool does the same thing, actually. But it's a solid weapon, man. Pick it up, get it, use it. It's fun, it's great. You know what else is great? YouTube. And the fact that I can share this video with you guys. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, hit that like button below. Subscribe for more Warframe content, and I will see you guys in the next one.